Hey guys, this is Thought-Provoking Thursday. My name is Honey. We're in a current series called Come and See. We just did a panel of 5 evangelists talking about evangelism, actually. I feel like sometimes we're afraid to share the gospel with people because we're afraid of the questions that they may ask, specifically that we don't know how to answer them. Yeah, so when somebody asks me a question that I don't know how to answer, I tell them flat out, I'm simply like, I don't know, but I can definitely look into it for you. And I think that how you follow up from that is also just as important as being honest previous. And you should follow up with questions. You should ask them, well, why do you ask this? Because it's usually rooted in something else. And then you want to leave them, like we talked about on Sunday, with a question that's very thought-provoking for them when they go home. And it's, is this keeping you from following Jesus? I think that listening is probably one of the greatest things that we could do. There's a saying called closed mouths don't get fed, but I think that equally closed ears can't feed the needy. In modern culture, we have this fear of not knowing enough knowledge or not knowing enough to answer a question that we forget that Christ is the truth. And that's all we really need. Faith doesn't begin with knowing all the answers, right? It's knowing who the answer actually is. And you really only need 3 things to share the gospel, and it's knowing the gospel itself, right? You actually have to know how to articulate the gospel, and I think that that's something that like people really struggle with. 2, having a relationship with God. You should have a relationship with God to be able to share your testimony to people. And then 3, it's loving people and loving God. If I could explain the gospel in 15 to 30 seconds or empower you to explain it, I would tell you to start with understanding that every man has fallen short of the glory of God, explain what sin is, explain the cost of sin, and explain why Jesus had to go onto the cross and die in our place, and then resurrect so that we can have eternal life with him. Explain how we receive salvation by grace through faith. If you're really struggling with articulating the gospel, I definitely recommend you looking into and doing research on what the Romans Road is, because it walks you through it piece by piece. And it's been used for centuries to help lead people back to Jesus. Yeah, starting a conversation with somebody about God that you never really talked to them about God before can be like super complicated, and like sometimes you're in your own head about it. Like you're running through your head so much that you're not actually even communicating with the person anymore. Like it's an inward anxiety that you have. I would definitely say that people always ask you how you're doing, right? It's an opportunity to share with people what God is doing in your life, right? And even if they don't ask, you can just walk by and say, isn't today great? Like God has definitely made this day like such a beautiful day. Like you can work God into any conversation. It doesn't take too much like prying to get him in there. You just have to find the opportunity to. And you know, like I definitely struggle with that too. Like at times, like I'll be sitting there, I'm like, oh, like I want to share the gospel with this person, but like I'm in my head and I'm going back and forth with myself. By the time like I've worked myself up to it, the person's already left. Like it's the end of the day at work, like, or like the person that was visiting my house has already gone home because I've just like overcomplicated what God has done in my life and kind of overlook that in a sense too. Sharing the gospel in general and evangelizing people, like you don't have to do it alone. Like there's a church community, even Together Church, like we do this together. And I hope that you feel encouraged today to actually go out and share the gospel with friends, family, or people that you don't even know.